Are you thinking of moving to Prague, or you're actually about to move to Prague, but you're not sure how to find accommodation? Well, this is the video for you, because today I'm going to talk about moving to Prague, how to find accommodation. Ahoy from Prague, I'm Paul Colto, and having a little kipsy down there is Jožin. I've lived here in the capital of the Czech Republic for 5 years and in 3 different places, so I've been through the process 3 times, and I've worked here for 5 years and travelled through the city, so I know the city quite well. So today I want to give you my advice on how to best find accommodation that suits you and your needs when you first move to Prague. So when you first arrive, you might be looking for a short-term fix. To that end, Airbnb is great because you can rent a room or an apartment for 30 days. Often you get a 10-15% discount if you book for that long. So it's an option. If you come here to study to be an English teacher, often your TEFL course will provide you accommodation for that first month and the duration of your course. And during that time, on the course and by your own research, you can be looking and learning about places and the process of finding your own place in Prague. The website expats.cz is a great resource for anyone thinking of moving to Prague, or for anyone who's already moved here and wants advice or assistance in any sort of way. And there are extensive relocation and real estate sections on the website that can help you find what is right for you. And if you're moving with a family, that relocation section can offer you plenty of companies who can help you to move all your stuff across from another country to Prague. So for finding comprehensive lists of available rooms and apartments, you can use expats.cz, which is all in English, or sreality.cz, which can also be translated into English. In terms of choosing an area to live, I really recommend you watch my video on moving to Prague, which area should I live in, because I outline the positives and negatives about the 10 central districts in Prague. You need to be aware that it can be a little bit more difficult to find accommodation in September and October when the new teaching year starts, because lots of people are looking for accommodation then. Your 2 main options are to rent a room in an apartment or to get your own place. Obviously getting your own place is nice because it's your own place, but moving into a room in a shared apartment is great because you'll meet other people who have lived in the city for longer than you, will be able to give you lots of advice, and it's like having possibly they might even become friends, and that's vital when you move to a new city, to have those connections with the city to help you sort of get started. So when you find somewhere you are interested in, obviously it's very important to always visit that place before you sign any contract. If you like it and you want to take it, always ask for a translation of the contract. And if possible, have a Czech speaker with you. If you join a company or a language school, keep an eye on the notice boards because there's often adverts for spare rooms and apartments there. And you can just ask about in the HR department or at a language school in the sort of office, any tips or advice or knowledge they have about finding a place for you to stay. I first moved to Prague in September 2013, and I lived in a youth hostel for my first month in a shared dormitory. And it was great because it was in a wonderful location, it was quite cheap, and there were always people there that I could meet and chat with while I waited to start my TEFL course. My TEFL course started 1 month after I arrived, and part of the TEFL course I paid a little extra to have my own room very close to language school. And again, that was really nice. It was in a slightly different part of town, a little bit further out, but near a metro station, so I had to kind of get used to using Google Maps and navigating my way around the city on the public transport. In the final week of my TEFL course, me and 2 friends decided that we wanted to live together, so we went on expats.cz and looked through the listings of the apartments that were available. We'd read the Expat Survival Guide, which is a book provided by the Expats website. It's free and you can download the PDF, and it has some advice on what to look out for and be careful of when you're renting your own place. The place we found, we'd have to rent through a real estate agent, so we called him. He spoke English, which was great, and he took us to the property and we looked around. We thought about it for a couple of days, we decided we liked it and we wanted to take it, so we called the real estate agent and told him, and he said he would prepare the contract. A few days before we went in, we went back to the apartment, we met the landlord and the real estate agent there, and the real estate agent translated the contract for us completely and read through the whole thing and explained all the terms for us. I think we had to give a 1-month deposit and pay our first month's rent up front, and then the flat was ours. Once a month I had to go down and pay the landlord in cash, so we collected the money all together, and he would often give me too much alcohol as well every month, because I think he saw it as a nice opportunity to practice his English. And I remember one January when I went to pay him and I told him that I wasn't drinking in January, he just looked at me and asked me simply, "Are you a man?" Anyway, we stayed there for 3 years and it was a pretty good experience. The only thing I look back on and realise was pretty bad was that we were in an apartment at the top of a block of flats and it was like a very thin roof. And my bedroom and one of my flatmates' bedrooms was up there, and it was very, very, very cold in the winter, to the point where sometimes I had to wear a hat and gloves and a scarf when I slept, which is very weird, I know, but we did have these heaters in the room that we could use, but they were quite expensive to heat. So you need to think about these things before you move in. After 2 years, I got an apartment with my girlfriend, who's now my wife, and we were very lucky again. We came to find this apartment that I'm in now. We met the landlord. He was a really nice guy, he spoke fantastic English. I went round and checked absolutely everything. We'd made a big list of all the things we wanted the apartment to have, and the only thing it didn't have in the end was a balcony. It had everything else, so we took it. You may have to go with your landlord to the bank or the post office or the gas company like once to register and stuff, but it only takes a couple of hours. And keep your accommodation contract very safe, because you will need that when you apply for visas, for Živnostenský list, which is the work permit, and for temporary and permanent residence if you decide to do that. In terms of price, to rent a room in an apartment with other people should be somewhere between 7,000 and 10,000 Czech crowns. In terms of renting your own apartment, that's going to be somewhere between 12 and 18,000 crowns. And for some idea of salary, as an English teacher, after you first arrived, that first year you'll typically be making about 25,000 crowns. But you need to remember that in July and August there's very little teaching work, so your salary will drop significantly during that time, so you need to save for that time. But after 2 or 3 years, when you have more private students, your salary can and should increase significantly. In terms of furnishing your apartment, there are 2 IKEAs right on the east and west side of Prague, and in the last year they've introduced a delivery service, which is very handy. Also, there are applications like Let Go, where you literally list what you want to sell, you contact them and you go and pick them up. And there are Facebook groups like Prague Buy, Sell, Trade, where expats are continually buying and selling goods and services from each other. So that's just my experience and tips from my 5 years living here and the 3 different places I've lived in. I really invite and encourage anyone else who's had experience of living in Prague to share their experiences underneath, so other people can get as much information about this, and it's an important thing, as possible, so that they can make the best decision for them when they first move to this wonderful city. So thank you very much for watching. I really hope you found this video useful. If you did, please like and subscribe to my channel. I post videos every week on moving to Prague advice, international relocation advice, ESL teaching advice, and some other bits of fun as well. So until next time, from Yojin, who's having a little sleep, and from me, toot toot.